It started with a repost. Elon Musk, with over 200 million followers on X, reshared a clip from Dead End Paranormal Park, an animated children's show objecting to the inclusion of a transgender character.
It's me. I'm trans, Norma. And everyone at school knows, and everyone at home knows. And being here, it's like a whole new place. I can just be Barney, and I can choose if and when I tell people. I've never been happier, and that's...
He followed it with a pointed message. Cancel Netflix for the health of your kids. In the days that followed, the hashtag cancel Netflix exploded. Musk reiterated the call dozens of times. He wasn't alone. He amplified the messaging of Gays Against Groomers, a group already known for anti-trans rhetoric. This isn't just a fight over media content. It's a showdown over who gets to define culture, influence children, and steer public opinion. In this episode, we'll explain who Gays Against Groomers are, how Netflix's Dead End Paranormal Park became a flashpoint, and why Musk's amplification matters. Then we'll zoom out into the heart of billionaire power, media wars, and the cultural machinery of platforms. The question we leave behind: is this about protecting kids, or about billionaires shaping culture? 1. Who are Gays Against Groomers? Gays Against Groomers, GAG, is an organization founded in 2022, presenting itself as a pro-LGBTQ plus gay-led movement, opposing what it frames as grooming by trans advocates. But scholars, civil rights groups, and watchdogs categorize it quite differently, as a group that amplifies dehumanizing anti-trans rhetoric. Origins and messaging. GAG started as a social media account under the name Gays Against Groomers. Its founder, Jamie Michelle, had a background in conservative communications and in earlier years shared far-right content. From the outset, the group used terms like groomer repeatedly, a loaded word historically tied to accusations of child abuse. When Musk gained control of Twitter/X, GAG's account was reinstated after prior suspensions, and its reach spiked. Activities and influence. GAG is active online, producing tweets, memes, and endorsement of policies limiting transgender rights, especially for minors. It is also engaged in local politics, backing candidates, protest actions, and pushing anti-trans legislation. Multiple chapters exist in U.S. states, some of which have testified before legislatures opposing gender-affirming care or education policies. Critics argue GAG is not simply a rights debate group. Its core strategy utilizes fear, misinformation, and conspiracy, painting trans inclusion as emotional manipulation or predation. The Southern Poverty Law Center has classified GAG under its hate or extremist files due to its repetitive use of slurs and its role in fueling anti-trans narratives. Thus, GAG's messaging often frames itself as defending children, but its content and associations reveal a deeper ideological agenda. 2. What is Dead End Paranormal Park and why the outcry? To understand the media battle, we need to know what triggered it. The show at the center. About the show. Dead End Paranormal Park is an animated show originally released on Netflix, aimed at younger audiences. It featured supernatural themes and included a transgender protagonist named Barney, voiced by real-life trans actor Zach Barak. The show ran for 2 seasons and was canceled in 2023, yet remains accessible on Netflix. Critics' arguments. Critics, led by GAG and amplified by conservative voices, claim that Netflix is using children's entertainment to push a trans agenda. They argue the show promotes gender ideology to impressionable viewers. Musk echoed these views, calling the show pushing pro-transgender on children and sharing memes that labeled it propaganda. Critics also point to Netflix's broader content policies, perceived emphasis on diversity, inclusion, and woke themes across programming, and they interpret Musk's calls as checks on that influence. Defenders' response. Supporters of the show argue that representation matters, especially for kids who rarely see themselves on screen. They argue that excluding trans characters from children's media silences marginalized voices. Voice actor Zach Barak responded that the show positively impacted many viewers, offering validation. Netflix, for its part, has remained largely silent in public, not issuing immediate rebuttals, though previous instances suggest the company supports creative freedom and diversity. Some media observers see this controversy as part of a recurring pattern. Streaming platforms caught in culture war storms, like the Cuties backlash years ago. 3. Why Musk reposting GAG matters. Massive amplification. Elon Musk's reach on X is enormous. Over 200 million followers. His reposts aren't casual shares. They spark viral cascades. In fact, in recent days alone, Musk reposted cancel Netflix calls over 20 times. By linking Gag's anti-trans messages to his platform, he effectively gives them legitimacy and mass exposure. The rhetoric moves from niche to mainstream. Platform power plus agenda control. This isn't just about a show. It's about who controls narratives on large platforms. Musk, as owner/controller of X, can elevate messages aligning with his worldview. The lines blur. Is it advocacy or agenda setting? Is it free speech or selective amplification? By aligning with GAG, Musk signals to allies, culturally conservative audiences.
Why this Netflix cancellation campaign has gone so viral, with hundreds of thousands of people canceling their Netflix subscriptions, including Elon Musk. Is the #1 trend in the world, and Netflix has lost billions of dollars in their stock. You can see right here an absolute collapse today. The reason why this is actually happening isn't your standard red versus blue political issue. It's a lot deeper than that. It's a moral issue. Have you seen what Netflix has been putting in their children's shows? This isn't like we're trying to push one way or the other. We want Democrats to win. We want everyone likes socialism. It's not like that, okay? Open borders even. It's so much worse. They're sexualizing children. It's got to be the single most radical thing you can do, the single most morally indefensible thing you can do. And I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to play you all the clips. I'm going to show you what they're putting into their programming. That's why this has gone so viral, because Netflix has truly crossed the line. If you believe that this is wrong, you should also cancel your Netflix. Okay, here we go.
That he's an active participant in culture wars, not just a tech CEO. This also pressures other media platforms, creators, networks, even algorithms to respond or face backlash. Billionaire influence over media debates. Musk's campaign is part of a broader trend. Billionaires leveraging platform to influence what culture allows or rejects. Netflix, Disney, and other streaming giants have faced similar pressure before. The Cuties controversy in 2020, for instance, saw a backlash against Netflix for supposed sexualization in a film, with calls for censorship, boycotts, and political scrutiny. These battles often aren't about individual works. They're signals in the larger cultural battle over who shapes norms. 4. Zooming out, the larger pattern. Billionaires and cultural battlefields. What we're witnessing isn't merely a show versus a tweet. It's part of a broader struggle for cultural influence. Powerful individuals and institutions use media as battlegrounds, shaping headlines, influencing public sentiment, and elevating narratives aligned with their beliefs or interests. Musk's involvement amplifies a dynamic. His status turns criticism into a spectacle, pressure into policy leverage, and cultural debate into a tool users must respond to. Platforms as gatekeepers. Streaming platforms, social media networks, and media conglomerates act as gatekeepers. What they choose to promote, suppress, or ignore matters. As these platforms grow in cultural influence, every content dispute becomes high stakes. Creators, media companies, and viewers are all subject to these pressures. Netflix's experience with backlash. Netflix has navigated similar storms before. The Cuties controversy is often cited as a moment where the company was vilified for alleged exploitation of children, drawing legislative scrutiny, advertiser pullouts, and public backlash. Netflix tends toward defending artistic freedom and diversity, but the consequences, subscriber volatility, reputation risk, regulatory attention, are real. In many ways, this moment with Dead End is the next iteration of that cycle. New fault lines in culture, identity, and power. 5. Conclusion and open question. This is not merely a media spat. It's a battleground over who shapes norms, how children are represented, and who gets to define acceptable culture. Gays Against Groomers is not just another online group. It represents a movement with influence rooted in controversial rhetoric. Musk's amplification turned what was once niche into mainstream. Netflix's role raises questions of creative freedom and responsibility. At stake is more than a subscription count. It's the question of influence, control, and representation. So here's the question we leave you with. Is this fight really about protecting children, or is it about billionaire power shaping what we believe? Subscribe now to keep in touch with our next topic.